Good morning, guys. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. Thank you for clicking on the video. If you're returning, again, another thank you. It really means a lot for returning people to keep coming back. The only way this channel is going to grow is for people to click on, show an interest. So if you do like the video, please do give it a second and give it a thumbs up. If you can share it with anybody that you think may find it interesting or helpful, then by all means do so. And also there's that hype button somewhere on the mobile system that if you get a chance, if you could hype it, that would be really appreciated. Right, so a quick introduction for those of you that don't know me. My name's Karen. I am 57 years old and I have lost a significant amount of weight on a GLP-1 in the last year. So around 3 stone, which is what I needed to lose. Now, I am prescribed Mounjaro in my case because I am a type 2 diabetic. So it has regulated my diabetes to the point that I am now in remission. But it also helped to obviously reduce my weight, and the weight in turn also helps with the diabetes. So it's a big all-round picture. So I lost the weight that I needed to, and I've now been maintaining that weight for the last 3 months. I'm still taking Mounjaro. I have reduced my dose from 7.5 to 5. And that's been in the last couple of weeks. So this little video, or the first part of it I should say, I'm going to take you through what I eat in a general day. It is a work day today, so I'll just be nipping in at meal times. I am planning on going to the gym this evening, so if I can do that I will take you along with me and maybe pop a little snippets in for the gym. And I'll be cooking my evening meal throughout the day so that it's all ready for when I get back from the gym. I finish work at 4 o'clock. We go straight to the gym, so I'm usually back by about 5:30, and dinner's there ready to go in most cases. So it is now 9 o'clock. I have already had my coffee, my supplements. I take a couple of supplements, just a multivitamin, a biotin, cod liver oil, that's because of my age, nothing to do with Mounjaro, and I also have to take a statin on an evening, which is part of my medication. But yeah, just a couple of supplements along with my collagen, which I always take religiously every morning when I remember. So I'm going to pop together my breakfast. Now, for those of you that have been around, I'm a creature of habit. So I do tend to have the same breakfast every day. So it's my yogurt bowl. So I'm going to move the camera down and we'll get that together. Okay, right. For the sake of today's vlog, I will be weighing and recording all of my meals on the NutriCheck app, which is what I've used all the way through. I don't tend to track, no, that's incorrect. I track every day, although I don't tend to weigh my food every day. I do tend to do a little bit of a guesstimating, which isn't a good habit to get into, but I've been doing this now for so long, sort of got used to how much everything is. But like I said, for the sake of this, I will be weighing everything for today. Right, okay, so I'm going to start off with a protein yogurt from Arla, 20 grams of protein. Now, I will sometimes use these, or sometimes I will use a natural Greek yogurt. On the whole, I use 0% fat, but I will also use the 5%. As long as it's recorded that you know the calories, it's down to personal taste. And now, because I am in maintenance, I do have that little bit more of an allowance. So that I do find the 5% just a little bit tastier. So that's supposed to be a 200 gram pot. Difficult to tell yeah, I mean, that's coming up at 190 now. So with a bit that's left on the spoon, 200-gram pot. Okay, now to go with it, I'm going to do some mixed nuts. I just buy the Aldi version or Lidl, you know, whatever's available, just mixed nuts. They've got really good fats in them. They do have a little bit of protein. They do have a little bit of protein, but nuts should not be seen as a protein source. They are a fat source. If you're eating nuts thinking, oh, they're really good, they're full of protein, no, they're not. They're full of fat. So they are good, but be mindful of them. So I have 20 grams, which is, you know, a small pinch. But again, today I'm going to weigh them. That's 16 and 19. Oh, I'm going to get away with a small one. And another one. And another one. That will do. 20. Okay, so it's 20 grams of nuts, which, like you say, it isn't a lot. It's a very small handful. You know, a large pinch. So just be mindful, they're really calorific. I will put the calories alongside. Now, I've decided to add some bran. Sometimes I'll add some granola. Again, it just mixes it up a little bit. But for the next, well, as long as this packet lasts, a couple of weeks or so, I'm going to add just a small serving of bran. So to help with upping my fibre content. So again, I'm going to go with 20 grams. Now, a portion, if you were having this as a cereal on its own, is 40 grams. But I'm adding around 20, which is actually quite a lot. So it's a good couple of handfuls. There we go, 20. Well, I should say big pinches. Right, and that is my breakfast for the day. It doesn't look fantastic. Now, normally I would have had fruit to this, but I've run out. I do need to go and get some shopping. So I would normally add blueberries, some frozen berries. I used the last of my frozen berries yesterday. So timing, not very good. So yes, it's a bit bland today. But this will keep me going till lunchtime. So yeah, I will bring you back at lunchtime. Let me just move the camera back up so I'm not talking to you. That's better. Okay, I will bring you back at lunchtime. Okay, it is now 12:30 and I'm hungry. So I am going to do just something really simple because we've got that cottage pie for tonight. So I'm going to do some scrambled egg on toast. So 2 eggs. I'm not going to show you. We all know how to scramble eggs, don't we? So not toast, sorry. I'm going to have a pita because I did get the bread out and it's gone mouldy. So I can't have bread. Oh, I'm going to have pita, which is still a form of bread, but I'm going to have a piece of pita with some scrambled egg. So I'll show you once it's done. There we go, just a simple, oops, can't find you, there you go. Just a simple lunch, quick and easy, scrambled egg and a bit of bread. Okay, so it's time to prep our evening meal. So I'm going to make a shepherd's pie. So I'm going to do 2 reasonably large ones, two portions. So I've got 500 grams of mincemeat. I haven't got any onions, so what I'm doing is I'm using one of my made tomato sauces from the tomatoes I had in the garden over the last year. So that does have onion in it and also some courgette. So it was done as a pasta sauce, but it's going to replace a tin of tomatoes basically. So I've got some mixed herbs, some garlic granules, some salt, couple of stock pots. I most likely will thicken it with some gravy granules at the end, just because I don't have a sauce mix. Normally I would use a Commons, like casserole, not casserole mix, cottage pie mix. But I don't have one. I had a look last night and I haven't got one. Typical. So some potatoes to do the top. Might need a couple more than that. Some carrots to go in it. I'll get some peas out of the freezer, and they'll most likely go in at the last minute as well. It's just nice to put much veg into it, so that if we do have, so I'm going to make 2 portions. One will go in the freezer and one will be for tonight's tea. So when we decide to take the one out of the freezer, if we haven't got more veggies or can't be bothered to make veggies, at least there's veggies in it. Right, so I'm going to prep these veggies and then I'm going to get it all on. Okay, so that's the mince all ground off. I'm just going to add in the rest of the ingredients really and let it simmer away for maybe an hour or so. I forgot to say tomato puree, so that will be going in as well. Now I've used 15% mince here, 15% fat mince. You can use 5, which will reduce your calories down. You could use chicken mince, whatever suits your budget. And the other thing you can do, which it depends on what the volume's like at the end of this, you can always bulk it out with some green lentils as well. Again, really good protein source. You could make it with lentils if you've got veggies or you want to do a veggie meal. You can make it with lentils, most likely a couple of tins, a red one and a green one. So I might bulk it out with lentils at the end. It all depends on how much I've got. So I'm going to add the rest of this in, along with the carrots. I'll put some peas in later, they don't need to go in just yet. Now for my secret ingredient, obviously if you don't have this you can just do it in the tomatoes, and I would put an onion in, but like I said, this mix happens to have onion in anyway. I don't season it, I leave it so that I season it when I need to use it. So that will need seasoning now. I'm going to put 2 stock cubes in just because of the volume that it's going to make. Not stock cubes, sorry, stock pots. Plus I don't have that additional sauce that I would normally put in. Oh, these never come out in one go, do they? Okay. Right, and just some general seasoning now. So good old amount of salt. I'll season that again at the end. I'll test it. Some garlic powder and just some mixed herbs. Like I said, I'll try it before I put it into the ramekins, but I might need to put some water in that. Yeah, that's going to need some water. Right, I'm just going to leave that to simmer now for most likely an hour, maybe longer. I'll pop the potatoes on. There's no rush for this, it's just going to go into the ramekins later. Okay, so that's it all cooked off. I have put the lentils in because I haven't got any peas. I could have swore I got a bag of frozen peas, but no, I don't know what's wrong with it. Like, it just shows that you can throw whatever you want in this. Whatever you've got, it goes. So don't worry about it. You know, it's not a recipe that you have to follow as such. You may do with what you've got. Right, okay, so I'm going to transfer it into these 2 and then I'm going to top it with mash. And then we're going to pop one in the oven. and pop one in the freezer. So bear with me. Two massive shepherd's pies, cottage pies, whichever. I'm going to put cheese on, so is that cottage or shepherd's? In my head, shepherd's is with lamb, cottage is with beef, but you know what? It's intermingle. Right, okay, I am going to, these are really full, and this is going to spill over, so I'm going to put it on a baking tray for a starter. Let's pop this one on there, and I'm going to grate some cheese over it just because I feel like being indulgent. Okay, I'm not going to weigh it. It's going to be around 50-60 grams or so, just enough to brown off the top and make it look a bit better. Now I won't put it on the other one. You can decide whether or not we want cheese on it as and when we take it out of the freezer. But I'm just going to leave it out to cool down. Then it will go inside a plastic bag and just stay in the freezer for until we need it. Right, okay, I'm going to get this in the oven and you'll see it in about 40 minutes, or in this case about 3 seconds. And the moment of truth. Looks pretty good, doesn't it? Can't wait to tuck into this one. Okay, end of the working day. So 4 o'clock, time to go to the gym. So changed, put my leggings on. Yeah, let's go to the gym. If I can get some footage in there, I will do, but let's see. Okay, so back from the gym, time to dish up this bad boy. Now I'm going to have to just nuke it. Now, as I said before, portion wise, I'd say this one will do 3. I've just had about a third of that, and I'll most likely have, might be just over, but I'll have some most likely for my lunch tomorrow. I'm going to pop it in the microwave for 30 seconds because it has gone a little cold. Okay, and then veg, I have some tender stem broccoli. And actually, whilst I'm on the subject, can anyone explain that to me? Because what the hell is best before B10? Why can't they just put a picking date on it? It's so infuriating. I mean, what's B? February? There was one in the freezer that I had that I'd obviously not used and froze, and it was A something. So was that January's date? Why can't they just put the frigging date on? So annoying. So fucking annoying. Okay, rant over. Oh, I'm starving. Right. Green beans on that one. There we go. And that is my evening meal. Save that one. Fab. Right, I am going to go and tuck into this because I'm starving. And I will catch you a little bit later and I'll do just a bit of a roundup of how my week's gone. Right, see you in a bit. Okay, so that was yesterday. That shepherd's pie was yummy. I've just had the remaining half of what was left for my lunch today, with some pita and a salad. So that was really nice. I'm just going to do a boring throw in the oven of fish and chips tonight. But yeah, that's the end of another week. Managed to get into the gym. My cold is so much better now. I mean, as you can hear it, I think yesterday I was still a little bit croaky, but this morning I've definitely woken up feeling much better. So all in all, my calories for yesterday, they worked out at around 1400, give or take. The breakfast is about 350 plus my collagen and a cup of tea, so it's about 400 for breakfast in total. Around 400 again for the scrambled egg and pita for my lunch. And then the evening meal, that shepherd's pie worked out somewhere in the region of around 500 to 600. It's so difficult, especially when you're working from a recipe, to be exact. So I do tend to overestimate it. And I think I most likely worked that out on a quarter of the recipe. And as you saw, I didn't quite have a quarter. I had a little bit less than that. So to be on the safe side, I'm going with around 600. So that gave me a total of around 1400 for the whole day. And I'm aiming towards that 14 to 1500 as a ballpark. So as long as my weight's not changing significantly, even with these apps, calories is very much a bit of a guesstimate. You can't be exact. Even packets with the calories on them are not exact. So you've got to work out where you are. And if you put your weight on, then you're overeating your calories. And on the other hand, if you're still losing weight, you're most likely undereating. So it's a bit of a game to work out where your actual maintenance calories are. And every day is different. If you do a little bit more exercise, I went to the gym yesterday. I also managed to get some steps in yesterday. So all of these little things all add up. So like I said, it's a bit of a guesstimate, but that was my calories from yesterday, and I'm quite happy with those. So talking of calories sort of brings me on to my just how things have been in general for the week. Now, as I explained last week, and I think the week before, I've reduced my dose now down to a 5 milligram. So I've just had the third 5 milligram injection. So I've done 2 full weeks now with 5 milligram. It's been difficult to tell because I've been so ill as well. So you never quite know how much of it is the reduction in the medication, or is it down to the fact that I've just got a cold and feel rough, and you want to eat different foods when that's the case. So it's difficult to say what's been driving what. So hopefully the next couple of weeks will be a little bit more accurate. But what I have noticed this week, and again, I can't say for definite whether it's the reduction or if it's just me coming out of this cold, is I've definitely been feeling more hungry, especially in the last few days, to the point yesterday, especially really yesterday, I was really hungry at breakfast, and then I was still hungry after I'd eaten my breakfast, and it took a little bit for it to fill me up as such. I mean, I could quite easily have gone back and eaten it again. Same with my lunch, and same with my evening meal. Now, is that because not necessarily the suppression, but I don't feel full the minute I eat, which is something that I was feeling before. So I could eat a good sized meal. It's never stopped me from eating. I've never been that person that says, oh, I can't eat anything, I feel sick, or it's never done that. But what it has done previously is I felt satisfied after I've eaten, and virtually straight away. But yesterday especially, I could quite easily have gone, oh, I'll just have this on top of it, or I'll just have this on top of it. Now, if I have been still feeling hungry, sort of an hour and a half later, then I've had a piece of fruit. So it's not necessarily the food noise that's come back. I'm not thinking of the snack cupboard. I'm not constantly thinking about what I can eat next. But what is happening is that I don't feel, I suppose, it's satiated immediately like I have done previously. So I'm going to keep an eye on that for the next couple of weeks. And I do think it is a little bit of the reduction, but I think it's also a little bit of me getting over this cold as well, and my body's getting back to normal and wanting a few more calories. So something that I'm going to keep an eye on. But let me know. I mean, have you guys, those that are on maintenance, have you noticed that coming down the doses? You know, is it something that evens back out again if you've done it slowly? Which is hopefully what I want to do, is like stick to 5 milligrams now for at least a good few months, to the point that I'm evened out with that and I'm not thinking about it anymore. And then I'll consider whether or not I'm coming back down anymore. I don't know. I most likely will be sticking to 5 for this year anyway, because of my diabetes more so than my weight. But yeah, that's pretty much the update. I have got on the scales this week today, and I have gone up another ½ pound. I had put on about ½ pound over the last couple of weeks, so it was like 0.2 last week, so it's negligible. Maybe 0.2 the week before, but in total over the last couple of weeks now I've put on a full pound. So I'm 127.7 now. My lowest that I got down to was 125 pounds. So it is slowly creeping up a little bit, but it's still well within my range. My top end that I will not go over again is 130. But 129 I think still keeps me in the healthy BMI. So I am very much right at the very top of my BMI, but within the healthy range. So I'm just going to monitor it for the next couple of weeks. I'm not going to allow it to get to me from that point of view. It's just a case of, all my clothes still fit. I don't feel any different. I don't feel bloated. I can't say that I'm putting muscle on that quickly, even though I have been consistently going back to the gym. But who knows? I might be holding a little bit more water. So we'll monitor it and see how it goes. Right, and that's pretty much my update. So if you've made it this far, thank you for a start. I'd love you to, pop me some comments in. I have released my first clothes try on. That went up a couple of days ago. So if you haven't checked it out, do so. I'll link it in at the end of this one. So there's going to be part 2 has been filmed, and that will be up next week, and then I'm waiting for a few more bits to turn up, and then I'll be doing part 3. But it's been really nice to get some new clothes actually, and to get some new things tried on, and try some different stuff as well. But yeah, so if you've made it this far, I would love you to leave me a comment. Please consider subscribing if you haven't done so already, and give the video a thumbs up and a hype if you can do so. I still haven't found that hype button. I'm not quite sure what's going on, but I do keep looking, but it just doesn't seem to be there for me. So right, on that note, I will leave you to it. There will be a food vlog. I've got quite a big shop to do over the weekend, so that will go up Monday, and then the next phase of the clothes haul will go up on Wednesday. So a busy couple of weeks, with some videos coming up every couple of days. So I am trying to build this channel, so I am going to try and get a minimum of 2 every week. If I can get a third up, I will do so. But I can't keep trying on clothes as much as I would love to. I'll run out of shops and I'll run out of money. So, right, okay, you have a wonderful week. Let me know in the comments how you're doing. How's your week been? And I'd love to know if
if you are on maintenance, if you are struggling with that hunger. So I'm not the only one. And I will see you all on Monday. All right. Bye for now. Bye.